All right, what's up, guys? VV back with another video. And in today's video, we've got a VV Lab. That's right, guys. It's been a while since we've done one of these, right? But we got a pretty chill video. I'll break that down more as we get into today's video. But we're going to be going over some games that were submitted by the community. Okay, so let's get right into this. That's going to be the entirety of the video today, guys. We got 4 different games to go over that have been submitted by random people in the community. And again, we'll talk more about that in just a second. So I will have everything time-stamped in the general description, and I'll have all relevant links and stuff like that in the comments section below. If you guys have any comments, questions, or suggestions, please do not hesitate to put those down in the comments section below, or hop on the VV Theory Discord. Link will be in the channel description. Now, what is a VV Lab? For any of the new listeners out there, any of the new players checking in, first of all, welcome to the channel. Something that I offer is where people will submit their gameplay for me to review. It doesn't cost any money. It's completely free. All you have to do is hop on the Discord. Well, first you have to record a game for me to review, right? If you're interested in me reviewing one of your games, all you have to do is record one of your games and then upload it to YouTube. And then you hop on the VV Theory Discord, link is in the channel description, and you post the link in there under a channel I have called Review My Game. So if you're interested in that, by all means, record a game, get it on YouTube, and, you know, submit the link under Review My Game, under the channel Review My Game on the Discord, okay? Now, let's do this, guys. Let's get into the first game here. We have Newgate versus Blue Doflamingo. So a few things to go over real quick. Some of these games are a little bit older. Like, for example, this first game is from 1.29b on the sim. So I think this is like before, you know, well before OP12, okay? So do understand some of these games are a little bit older because I'm still catching up and whatnot. That's the first thing. Second thing is this. Notice it's going to be a little bit off today, guys. Notice how you can kind of see the border of this thing peeking through of the actual, like, of the game fields peeking through, because I'm not going to make a custom layout for each one of these. I did that in the past. It was too much extra work, so guys, just bear with me. I know it doesn't line up perfectly, but I do like to at least cover the names up so there's total anonymity and, you know, all that good stuff. Now, let's do this, guys. Volume is off, speed is on 2x, and here we go. Newgate versus Doflamingo. So even if this is a little bit older gameplay here, guys, you know, there aren't all the new cards in this. There's still going to be stuff that we can pick up and learn from, you know, sequencing and play lines and things like that. Okay, so the Newgate's going to go first here. They're going to play out an Ezo, fix their hand, into turn, they're going to draw a card from their leader's effect from the top of their life. Okay, now Doflamingo is playing out a Marshall D Teach, and then they pass the turn. Ezo's going to swing for 5. Newgate's going to swing for 6. The Doflamingo takes both of those hits. Very, very greedy play there. But hey, you know, it is what it is. Now, one thing to look out for. Okay, pause. We got some stuff to talk about already. One thing to look out for against Doflamingo or against any blue deck as Edward Newgate is if they're running Pudding, it could get very ugly very quickly, right? That can hit your entire hand size. So it is, you know, I think the Newgate player is going to want to counter out of pretty much everything that the Doflamingo player does here. Now, Doffy's going to play out Sentimaru. This is a very interesting tech card here. Not sure if this is the best way to do this. One more thing I want to mention too, guys, is like I said, some of these games are a little bit older, so Jinmei might not even be banned in this version of the sim, so we might have to look out for that. But here we go. Sentimaru. Dawn ×1, activate main once per turn, pay 2. Play up to 1 Pacifista with a cost of 4 or less from your deck, then shuffle your deck. So this seems like a very interesting version of Blue Doflamingo we're going against here. Okay, here we go. So they're going to go ahead and attach 2 Dawn to their leader with Teach, putting a 4-cost Kuma, Bartholomew Kuma, on top of their life. With pause, a lot just happened there, right? How did they do that? How did the player on the top do that, guys? They attach 2 Dawn to their leader with the effect of Marshall D Teach and put a card from their hand on the top of their deck. They swing for 7, and with their remaining Dawn, they use their leader effect, and they cheat the card out from the top of their deck that they put there with the Marshall D Teach, right? I know a lot of Doflamingo players already knew that, but for any of the new players who might be listening, that's what's going on. They swing for 7, they play out this Kuma, which has an on KO to play a Pacifista from hand, and it's a blocker, and of course it's 7 Warlords of the Sea. That's why that's how they were able to do that. Okay, but in this situation here, I think we might just be going face. Pause. I agree. So hear me out, guys. The thing about Edward Newgate is you're on a clock. Okay, you're actually literally on a clock because we're down to 4 life. Okay, we're down to 4 life, and we're going to take a life every single turn. right? The leader effect of Edward Newgate says at the end of your turn, you take the top card of your life and you add it to your hand. Okay, well, if that's the case, we have to go pedal to the metal. We don't necessarily have enough time to battle into their board, especially since it's going against blue, who might have pudding. So if we build up a huge hand size, they're just going to hit our hand, and now we're just going to lose. Okay, so going face here, I do like that idea. That is a good tactic to have in this specific situation here. Okay, so swing for 6 into 5, swing for 6 into 5. They give us a 2K, they give us another 2K, and now it's going to be back to them. Okay, we take the top card of our life as the Newgate player, and here we go. 6 Dawn turn for Doflamingo, and this is a situation where if I'm the Doflamingo player, I think I would go for the board. Okay, if I'm the Doflamingo player, I think I would go for the board. I think that's the right call. 7 into 6. They play out a Pacifista with a Sentimaru, and it looks like they did not hit a card. It looks like they actually whiffed on their leader effect, I believe, guys. I think they whiffed on the leader effect, unless I missed something there. Hang on, pause. We got to go back and look at this real quick. My apologies, guys. I just have to make sure. So right here, they play out the Pacifista with the effect of the Sentimaru. Then they attach 2 Dawn to the leader, and they revealed a Pacifista from the top of their deck, and that card... So, guys, Kuma is 7 Warlords of the Sea, but the Pacifista is not. The Pacifista is actually, I think it's like biological weapon / navy or something like that. It does not have the 7 Warlords type, even though, you know, it's based off the whole Kuma idea there. Okay, so here we go. They swing for 7. They whiff their leader effect. 2K counter out to save the ace. I agree with that. Counter every single turn if you're playing Edward Newgate right now in case they're running pudding. We don't want them to hit our hand when it's too big. That'll feel terrible. Okay, so we play out the 7 cost. The Edward Newgate's going to play out the 7 cost 8K ST23, I believe, Edward Newgate. They're going to attach it on to their leader. They're going to pop a character, and then it looks like, yeah, they're just battling into the board here. They're developing a board. This is a good place to be as the Edward Newgate, I have to say. They were able to deal with a bunch of stuff on the board there, attack in, and that forced a block from the Doflamingo player, and they're still down to 4 or 5 cards in hand. Maybe they should have taken one of those hits to save one of the blockers. I will say that might have been the better call, just so they had more of a board presence. Okay, and now they're going to pass the turn back after red rocking the 7 cost 8K to the bottom of the deck, and they just had a turn that did nothing. Pause. Wow, what a position to be in as the Edward Newgate player, right? Because now we have 2 Dawn active for our 2 defensive. We have 3 defensive events, but we have 2 defensive, or we have 2 Dawn for 2 defensive events, and we have a little bit of counter as well. They play out the Beckman, they trash the Kuma, and now the on KO effect won't happen. They can't even block with it to get that on KO effect because Ben Beckman came in and trashed the card, threw it in there without activating the on KO, and now swing 6, swing 6. I would probably swing 6, swing 7 here, because I think they're only going to need one one Dawn of in front of it. They're going to play it super safe here, pass the turn. They probably don't want to go down to 0 life here, but at the same time, if they attack in, I think you just take this hit here, because you're going to be at 0 life next turn anyway. I probably would have swung 6, swung 7, but I don't think it matters too much in the end. Okay, so Sentimaru is going to cheat out a Pacifista from the deck using his effect, attaching a Dawn, paying 2, doing that effect. They got Marshall D. Teach. That's going to allow them to attach 2 Dawn, and they're just going to go ahead and give up. I do understand that. It does make sense to give up here, because notice their hand. They only have 3K counter in hand, and we're going to be swinging for at least 7/7/7 next turn, which they could not even survive that. They could get out of the first 7, and then the next 7 they have to block, and the next 7... Okay, well, actually, we would have to swing for a little more than that, to be fair. Well, no, we don't. No, we don't. Never mind, because we have the rush cards in hand. So we would be able to swing for, realistically, so on a 10 Dawn turn, 5 Dawn lets us play out Luffy to swing for a 7. And then we have 5 Dawn left. We could attach 1 Dawn to Ace to swing for 7 more. And then we would have 4 Dawn left to swing for, I think, maybe 8 and 9. So we could go 7, 7, 8, 9, I believe. And there's pretty much no way they're getting out of that with only the single blocker. Now, I wonder, I guess they probably technically could have... They could have attached 2 Dawn to their leader with the Marshall D. Teach and put the Kuma on top of life, but no, then it comes into play rested, doesn't it? Yeah, that's unfortunate, and they ended up playing out the Usopp here. They could have gotten through one more turn, but here's the problem. As long as we leave 3 Dawn active on our next turn, even if we're at 0 life, it doesn't matter, because we have 3, 6, plus 4, 10K counter in hand. plus a 1K counter coming out of life, and then 2 more 1K counters. So even if they try to swing for 15 unblockable or something, you know, whatever like that, it just doesn't matter, because we can go Divine Departure, Radical Beam, and that's going to put us from 6 to 12 to 16, and then we have 17, 18 we can get out of with the 2 1Ks in hand. So it's one of those situations where I think we're good pretty much no matter what. Either way, great game there. Let's go ahead and check out the next one. All right, next up we have a game of Red-Purple Luffy versus Green-Purple Lim. Okay, we got the volume off. Let's get the speed on 2x, and here we go. All right, Red-Purple Luffy versus Green-Purple Lim. That's very interesting. Again, guys, I apologize with the way it's offset there, guys, how you can see the border like that. My apologies, like I said, but otherwise I'd have to make a special custom layout for each one of these videos, because everyone has a different resolution. Okay, so the game's going to start off with Lim is going to be going first here. They play out the 1-cost Lim to start off their turn. It does not get any better of a start for Lim than that. They're going first. They want that, and they get to play out Lim on turn 1. Absolutely perfection when it comes to the start here. And now we're going to be going second as the Red-Purple Luffy player, playing out a Sugar, and it looks like we chose to not activate the Sugar's effect to do a search early on here. I think maybe we should have. Because if they want to attack into that card, I don't think we care that much, right? Like, that's fine. That's fine. Otherwise, what they could potentially do here is tap down, attack with Lim first, and then tap down 3 for something that might get rid of this card, right? I mean, who knows? I think they have ways to rest stuff down and whatnot. They could potentially get rid of the card. But either way, I don't think it's a big deal. I don't think it's like a big problem. Okay, looks like they were about to swing for 5 with Lim. That's not going to work because we're a 6,000 power leader. That's not going to help them. Okay, they're going to go leader effect, playing out the Lim, and I think, you could still use the Lim effect no matter what. Now, they don't have to swing in, because at the end of the turn, they could just stand up the Lim with the other Lim, and everything's fine. Okay, so here we go. Now, it looks like we're going to finally use an event here to search up. Very interesting. This is like a Don Quixote Doflamingo version of Red-Purple Luffy. That's pretty interesting. Going to play out the Chopper there to ramp a Dawn. Very nice, because we're playing against an opponent who ramps Dawn as well. That works out very nicely. Okay, and now they're going to go ahead and use the Sugar. They're going to do a search. They got the 8 cost there, I believe. Is that what that was? Let me go back. They searched up the 8 cost. What are some other options they had? Senior Pink. Ooh. Senior Pink could be pretty spicy in here, guys. That could be interesting. We'll have to keep our eye on that for later. They were thinking about getting the Searcher event, it looks like. But no, going for the Doflamingo here makes the most sense to me. But hopefully we can get a 5-cost card to cheat out with the Doflamingo later in the game. Okay, smashing in for 6. They're going to go ahead and 1K. Whoopsie daisy, and 1K. They definitely should have taken that hit, in my personal opinion. I think that was a mistake by the Lim player. Just take that hit and move on. Call it a day. It's not a big deal. 5 and a 1. Yep, gonna let that go. Also not a big deal. That takes up 1 attack. That could have gone at our face if they attached a Dawn to it. And in this situation here, I don't know what was in... Okay, pause. I don't know what was in the green and purple player's hand here, but generally speaking, what I like to do in this situation, if I'm going, if I were Lim and I was going first and turn 1, I got down that other Lim, I would have played out the Sabo. I would have played out the Sabo, and then on this turn, like with the leader effect, right? Pay 3, ramp a Dawn, cheat out the Sabo sideways, end of turn, stand it up with Lim, and go from there. Well, now, on this turn, on a 6 Dawn turn, you can actually play out the 3-cost Lim, search up what you need to, and then with the remaining 3 Dawn, you can ramp with your leader and still play out a 5-cost character. So I think there was a little bit of a sequencing issue with the green-purple Lim player, but that's okay, right? It happens, right? So if I used to bring out the accuracy meter, guys. Hang on, we got to get the accuracy meter out real quick. If I were to, how do I say this? If I were to explain the play they just had, and I know they had a Sabo, right? Because they countered out with 2 of these Sabos. I think they definitely should have done things a little bit differently. If I were to consider what that play was right there, it's not that it was a blunder. It was a little bit of an inaccuracy, though. I think it was like either a mistake or an inaccuracy. They could have had a slightly better play there. Okay, now let's get the accuracy meter off, and here we go. All right, so let's see what they do now. They're going to pay 3 for their leader effect, ramping a Dawn, playing out Ace to tap down the Chopper. Okay, I love that. Hang on, where's this going? Let's attack the Lim into the Chopper first, right? Interesting. I don't know. Okay, so pause. Yeah, so there's definitely some problems going on here. I don't think there was any reason to do it in that way. Who cares if they attack into one of our limbs at this point? We have to go back and at least talk about it, guys. So watch this. So in this situation here, I actually think... I'm not sure what they were doing here, to be honest. We have to go further back in the turn and talk about it. Okay, I'm sorry. They did have the 1k sugar to attack into. That was fine. Okay, that was fine. Swinging with the limb there. Now, right here, though, watch this. They paid the 3 and play out the ace to tap down the Tony Chopper. Okay, well, why? Instead of attaching 2 Dawn to the limb, I think it would have even been better just to go, okay, I'm just going to swing 0 into your Tony Chopper and see what they do from there. And then we still have 2 Dawn left. They don't know what we're going to play. We could have done anything with that, especially if we'd kept 3 Dawn open and played the limb afterwards. We could have done anything with that, right? Because we could just attack with this limb 0. Well, actually, I'm sorry. So that did make sense as far as the sequencing goes with the way that Ace works. You have to have 2 or more rested characters in play. But no, it doesn't, does it? Because if they just attack with Limb into the 1 cost, they can then play the Port Ghasti Ace, which will come into play rested, and it will be able to tap down the Chopper, and then you swing in with Limb while still having 3 Dawn active, and they don't know what your follow-up play is going to be. They're just going to let the Tony Chopper go and then go from there. But instead, watch this. They decide to load 2 up on the leader, swing for 7. Okay, that's fine. They 2k counter out. But why are we not now attacking 0 into 0 there into the Chopper? Might have been a new player, but I would definitely, let's bust out the accuracy meter, guys. I would definitely consider that a blunder. Because there is no reason to not attack into it. Right? Because hear me out, guys. You get to stand up the limb at the end of the turn anyway with her effect. She has the end of your turn effect. If you have, I think if you have 3 or more rested characters, you can stand her up. Okay, no problem. We can do that. And then one limb can stand up the ace, and the other limb can stand up the other limb, and that's fine. Do they want to attack into our limb? Okay, that's completely fine. So I think that was just kind of a blunder there, unfortunately, by our opponent. Okay, now let's see. So now we're going into a 7 Dawn turn. We're going to play out the Rosinante, trashing It's to Die For. Going to go ahead and draw 2 cards from that effect. Very nice. Going to swing in for 8, and this should be going through. Countering out of this would just be a play mistake. Okay, very nice. And now they still have a blocker. So because we didn't swing 0 into 0, they still have a blocker. And if they did counter out of it, they wouldn't have countered out, right? Because they used the 2k counter to get out of the 1 attack. Then they would not have used the they would have not used the Rosinante to save a Chopper there. I don't think they would have. Okay, 6 and a 6 here. That's a good number to attack for. I love the chip damage. Just 6k here, 6k there. Okay, okay. Looks like we're thinking about Gum Gianting. I would not do that. I would even use a 2k counter there, or the blocker would have been fine. Wow. Okay, Sakazuki, because we have 2 or more rested characters, we're able to KO a 5 or lower character, even if it's not rested. Seems good. Smash in, block out, seems really nice. I would have probably 2k countered out of one of those attacks if I could have. Or did that come up later? I'm not exactly sure. We're going to pause and go back, guys, because I think there's a lot to learn from this game here. It was this right here. So right here we have the 2k counter. I probably would have 2k countered out of this. Definitely would not have Gum Gianted out of that, but 2k countering out I think would have been completely fine. And then, okay, they take out the Rosinante. They swing for 6 with the leader. We block out. That's all good. Yeah, staying at 2 life in this matchup because of how wide they go on the board, I think that's the way to do it. Like, counter out as much as you can. They just stood up their entire board. Yeah, that's not good, right? That's definitely not good. So right here, we're going to use the leader effect to go up to 10 Dawn. Whoops, I think we could have used the card there. Okay, never mind. Hang on, pause. So it looks like they were thinking about using the God Thread. I have it up on the right here. Sorry if you guys can't see it perfectly because of the cropping there with the overlay. But it looks like they were thinking about using the God Thread, but I actually love this play a lot more. I really like the idea of playing out Rosinante, trashing cards from hand, fixing your hand. It would have been nice if we could have gotten to another event, though. We didn't. It is what it is. Okay, now, I think we still need to swing for the turn. We have not swung yet. And now we have a Gum Giant, a 2k counter. We only have 1 life left. Okay, that's where, countering out last turn would have probably been pretty nice. But who knows? We'll see what happens. Let's see what happens here. I don't pre-watch these games, guys, so it's just like a live reaction. Okay, swinging for 8. Okay, I was going to say, wait a minute. What's going on? We have to stand Dawn. I think we should have only swung for 7, though, and kept 3 Dawn active. 1 for the Thunder Bagua, the other for Gum Giant. I think we probably should have left 1 Dawn active there, but that's just my personal opinion. Because remember, guys, the Doflamingo effect, it does let you ramp a Dawn back, but you rest a Dawn to ramp a Dawn. Okay, they're going to go 9 into 6. This is a perfect Gum Giant here. Yeah, you got a Gum Giant here to get to more cards. Trashing probably the 8-cost Doffy. That's the right call there, in my opinion. Ugh, we did not draw into another counter event. This is where I think we should have left one more Dawn as active. Swinging for 7 might have been a little bit better. Okay, hang on. We might catch a break here. Our opponent doesn't know what we have. Oh, man, that is strong. Now, swing 6, swing 6. We can counter out of both of these. No. Okay, so that was just a play mistake again, guys. Please swing for the right numbers. Think of it like this, guys. If the opponent, if the green-purple Lim player would have swung for 6 and then 6... that would have been very different. And they're just swinging for the wrong numbers, right? For example, swinging for 8 on the Sakazuki would have been completely fine, and then 6 on Ace, and then 6 on the Lim, and then leaving a Dawn as active, or swing 7 for your final attack. That's fine too, right? But the thing is, like, swinging for 9 and swinging for 7 and then not getting the extra attack in from the Ace does not quite make sense. Because if you swing for 8 on the, okay, let's go back to the very beginning here. They attacked in first with this Sakazuki. That's fine, but that's still just one card from our hand. That's going to be one defensive event from our hand. Now, if they swing for 6 with their leader, that's one card from our hand or our last life. And if they swing 6 with Ace, that's, again, one more card from our hand or the last card from our life. So we have to respect more attacks in that way. But instead, if they're going to swing for 6 or 7, we have the 2K counter in our hand. So we get out of that for free. Well, not for free, for one card. So a 6K attack and a 6K attack here would have been better than just one 7K attack. Okay, so another big inaccuracy there. Okay, here we go. The turn should get passed back to us here. We're just waiting for our opponent. Okay, they're going to stand their cards up. We're up to 10 Dawn. And now we have a lot of things we can do here. We have a lot of options. Pause. Okay, it looks like we're going to start off with a Senior Pink. We're probably going to grab back a Gum Gum Giant. Remember, guys, I saw that earlier, and I thought that's going to probably be pretty spicy later in this game. Okay, they're going to grab a Gum Gum Giant for sure. Right, Dawn -1 to do that effect, and I think they get a Dawn back at the end of turn or something like that. I can't remember. But we saw 5 Dawn left to play with. We have the Rosinante. I would play that out, trashing the God Thread, drawing 2 cards, and then use my leader effect to stand a Dawn as active and smash in for this turn. Let's see what they choose to do here. There's a few ways we can do this. Okay, standing a Dawn back, very nice. Add a Dawn back with the leader effect. All right, now hang on. What are we doing here? Yeah, I like the Rosinante. Playing out the Rosinante, trashing the Thunder Bagua over the God Thread is a little bit confusing to me. I would much rather us trash the God Thread in this situation so we can have more defensive counter power. Okay? Because we're kind of in a scary spot right now. Again, if they had swung more aggressively last turn, we would not have that 2K counter in our hand, or we would be down to 0 life. Okay, let's see what happens here. So, still attack in. Okay, let's attack with... Guys, always try to swing with your lowest attacks first, because swinging for 9 here might have drawn them into a 2K counter. Wow, that is interesting. So we're actually just not going to... we're just going all in here, and at the end of our turn, we will stand 2 Dawn as active. So now I understand why they... hey, now I understand why they got rid of the Thunder Bagua. They're like, yep, I'm just not going to use that this game. Interesting. Okay, I think we could have swung for 7 and 9 here, and it would have been completely fine. Okay, they're going to swing for 10 and cut us a break here. We are very much appreciative of that. So we're going to use the effect here of Gum Gum Giant, trashing a card to draw 2. We'll probably we end up not getting to another Gum Gum Giant. Not that it matters. We don't have any more Dawn active. Interesting. Wait, why don't we have any more Dawn active? What happened there? Oh, ramp a Dawn. Interesting. Okay, now they swing for... Now they play out the... Okay, so we had some big play mistakes here. It looks like we're going to get away with one. We're about to break down everything that just happened. We're about to win a game we absolutely should not have won. Okay, good game. Yep, swinging for 9. Pause. Okay, so let's at least see you win on here. There were some major mistakes we got to talk about here, guys. A lot to break down and analyze. Let's be nice. These are probably new players, okay? Let's remember this. The entire point of having, you know, these VV labs is so that new players can learn from their mistakes, okay? So let's please be respectful in the comment section below. Now, we have a lot to talk about here. We're going to go all the way back to... This is a great learning experience here, guys. Let's go back to the beginning of this turn right here. They stand everything up. We have a 10 Dawn turn. Let me explain how I would have done things and why I would have done things the way I would have. Right here, Senior Pink, excellent. Dawn -1, get the Gum Gum Giant back. Stands a Dawn back as active from the effect of Senior Pink. Yep, we're doing that now. Ramp a Dawn back with our leader. We have 7 Dawn to work with for the turn. In this situation right here, I'm actually going to play out the Rosinante trashing the God Thread, drawing 2, trashing 1. We saw what we end up getting. Watch, we end up getting a. I think we get 2 bricks from our hand. Unfortunately, it was really not ideal. Yeah, we end up getting a Gamma Knife and we end up getting a Shanks. That is not what we wanted to see. However, it's still not the end yet, because watch this. Now all we have to do is we have to just swing for 7 with our leader. And again, we should not have trashed the Thunder Bagua. We actually should have just trashed the God Thread, okay? And then we have a Thunder Bagua. So we swing for 7 with our leader first, and then 9 with our Doflamingo, and then we will stand up 2 Dawn at the end of the turn. We will have enough to use a Thunder Bagua and our Gum Gum Giant. Okay, so watch this. We swing for 9, and then we end up swinging for 8. We swung out of order there as well. We should have swung for 7 and then 9 there. Not a big deal. It goes through. We're fine. We are completely fine in this situation right here. Now watch this. We would stand up 2 Dawn as active with the effective Rosinante, and we'd have that 1 extra Dawn as active. And remember, in this example, we would have Thunder Bagua in our hand, not the God Thread. Okay, so we have the way. So watch what our opponent does here. We still might have lost, by the way. We still might have lost. This green-purple Lim had a very good hand here. They swing for 10. Okay, I would probably actually... So hear me out, guys. I would actually probably take this hit. As crazy as that sounds, I think I would actually take this hit here. Because what ends up happening is we go down to 0 life, and if they want to load all the remaining cards from their Dawn on that Sakazuki and swing in, which would have been 14, we could have gotten out of that with a Gum Gum Giant and a Thunder Bagua. We could have gotten out of both, right? Because that would have been, it would have been 4 plus 4 is 8. 8 plus 6 is 14, and they were swinging for 14, and then we have the 2K counter in our hand to get out of, and whatever we might have drawn from the Gum Gum Giant. Now, let's see what happens. What ends up happening here is we Gum Gum Giant. Okay, so that's what happened. Notice this, guys. We attacked, we did everything a little too fast there. Gum Gum Giant does not have to return an active Dawn. So watch what they accidentally do when they use Gum Gum Giant. They return an active Dawn or something. I don't know what just happened. It looks like they returned more than 1 Dawn. They went down to like 8 Dawn or something. Like, I'm so confused. I have no idea what just happened there. But we don't have to return active Dawn. Now watch this. They end up swinging in for 3. They completely throw the game here. So all that the Lim player had to do, remember, we know it's in their hand, guys. They have a Mihawk in hand. So what they actually should have done here, we'll talk about in a second. They swing for 10, we take it. Okay, there's a Thunder Bagua, but we don't have any Dawn. We don't have any Dawn to work with. And then watch what they do. They pay 3 with a leader effect to play out the Mihawk, getting rid of the ace. Standing up the Mihawk, putting a Dawn on the Mihawk, and now they can't attack. Guys, if they literally just attach a Dawn to their Lim, they win the game. Okay, that was a very, very major, where's the accuracy meter? That was a missed win blunder is what that was for the green-purple Lim player. Let's talk about what they should have done now, because this is a really good learning experience here, guys. I'm glad whoever submitted this game, thank you so much. This is such a great learning experience. Watch, I'm going to tell you how I would have swung this turn as the Lim player. 1 Dawn on my Lim. I'm going to swing for 6. Just right away, I'm going to swing for 6 with Lim. That's going to get met with the 2K counter every time, right? 1 Dawn on Sakazuki. Okay, well, that's going to get met with the Gum Gum Giant pretty much every single time, right? And then I'm going to swing 1 with the, I'm going to put 8 on Sakazuki and swing for 8 more. Well, that's just going through because we didn't save for the, the Thunder Bagua. Now, that was only 3 Dawn. I need 3 Dawn to use my leader effect, so I have 4 Dawn left for the turn. I'm putting 4 Dawn on my ace, and I'm going to swing for 9 twice. That's how I'm going to finish out the game with the Mihawk interaction that we saw earlier. But as is, unfortunately, our opponent just made a massive blunder. We made mistakes as well as the red-purple Luffy player, and we won a game we probably shouldn't have. That's fine. But at the same time, you know, that's part of learning the game. When it comes to One Piece, sequencing is a really, really big deal. Okay, so make sure you're lining that up. And of course, learning how to use the sim. It's, you know, it takes a while to learn how the interface works with the sim. And that's what a lot of the mistakes were we saw, I think, from the green-purple Lim player. Okay, either way, good game to both players. Let's move on to the next one. All right, next up we have a game of red-purple Luffy versus Blackbeard. Okay, red, purple Luffy versus Blackbeard. Volume is off. Let's get the speed on 2x. There we go. And here we go. Okay. All right. Red, purple Luffy versus Blackbeard seems very interesting to me. Okay. And it looks like this is a very similar list to what we just saw, and these were two different users. These were not the same users, guys. No, you can even notice that like the resolution is even off with this one. But both red purple Luffy players were running a version of Luffy, red purple Luffy, that was Don Quixote focused. And this is all of these games so far have been from 1.29c on the sim, so before OP12. Okay, here we go. So it looks like the Blackbeard player is going to use their leader effect right away. And okay, we're just going to swing for 9. We're not going to worry about the Dock Q. And I think I agree with that. Who cares about that Dock Q? He'd have to attach 6 Dawn to attack with that character. Okay? So we're just going to ignore that card and just play bigger characters from here on out. Okay, they're going to play out Lafitte. Now, unfortunately, we didn't even get to use the sugar, right? Because they actually just, got rid of it before we could even use it because we were going first. Okay, so now we're on a 5 Dawn turn. Okay, end up KOing the Lafitte with God Thread, ramping a Dawn, and then swinging 7 into the leader's face. Really good tempo now for the red-purple Luffy, and that got us from the odd curve into the even curve. So now next turn, we're going to be on 8 Dawn. So we went from 5, instead of going from 5 to 7, we end up going from 5 to 8, right? I know that's confusing with my hand there, but we're going from 5 Dawn to 8 Dawn now, and now we're going to be able to use our leader effect. That's really good for us as the Luffy player. Well, theoretically, if we can just find something to play off of our turn. Okay, we have nothing in hand, guys. We have absolutely nothing. And we didn't get any love from the top of the deck there. They're going to fill out the board very nicely. We actually don't have anything, guys. We actually have nothing. We don't even have on play effects. We're going to play out 2 characters here to get some attacks in. Going to swing for 8. Going to leave 2 Dawn as active. I do like that quite a bit. Hang on, did we use our leader effect? I think we forgot to... We got a little bit rushed there, and I think we forgot to use the leader effect, guys. Let me go back and look at this real quick. I got to make sure. Okay, yeah, we have 8 Dawn here. We should have been able to leader effect up to 9. Okay, play out the 2 cards there. Swing in. Yeah, I think we forgot to use our leader effect. Okay, but that's okay. We'll be on 10 Dawn this turn unless we decide to use an event. We got to be very careful about that. Okay, Dock Q, they just completely clean up the board there, guys. That's what Blackbeard's doing. They're just trying to keep the board clear. They're trying to make it to the late game so that they can survive. Going to swing for 8. Going to use a Thunder Bagua, ramp a Dawn. That's fine. And now we're going to use a top knot to bottom deck a card. And then going to swing for a lot, swing for 10, play out the Giola, just so we have an attacker into the board. And here we go. They're going to play out the 10 cost Newgate. Or excuse me, Newgate, Marshall D. Teach, and now their leader can't even attack because we're a 6,000 power leader. Okay, I'm liking this. Yeah, swing for 12, and then leave the rest of the Dawn open. So now he doesn't get a free block with his Marshall D. Teach, and now if he doesn't start chaining the Teaches together, it's going to be big trouble for this this Marshall D. Teach. They find a Lafitte with the search. They play out the Laboon. They get rid of the Bellamy. And now what? Now what, guys? They have to leave the blocker open. They get a Hell's Judgment trigger. I think that just makes your opponent return a Dawn card or something like that. That's not very important here. Okay, well, right here, looks like we're going to have to swing for 12. And, oh, we actually have some very good stuff here, guys. I'm not going to lie. I think, so pause. Oh, never mind. Never mind. I was going to say swinging 2 into the Dock Q might have been the right call there, but they would have just let it go and drawn a card, so never mind. That would not have been the right call. Well played so far. And we have a... guys, do y'all see the hand? Do y'all see the hand of the player at the bottom? We have a Nora Beam Sword in hand. So we can actually shut this blocker down. If they don't have a way to play out another Teach this turn, we might have this one in the bag. Okay, guys, the Luffy player might win this game right here. Okay, they're going to play out that. They're going to attack in. Don't use the card effect. Now, Noro Beam Sword. Okay, I would Noro Beam Sword here. I'm not going to lie. Yeah, use that. Use the effect to tap down the Teach. And now we do have to use the Hell's Judgment. We'll go -3 there. And I would probably go -3 to the leader. I would have probably gone -3 to the leader there because they're just going to tap the Laboon and Dock Q to get rid of the Giola. But I don't think it matters anymore. It doesn't matter. What's their last card? If it's not a blocker, they just lose the game. 7 and a 6. They're going to have to try to swing all out here. Yeah, they get out of it, and then that's game. Okay, so let me get back to the final board state there. They load up everything onto their... Wait, why did they leave the game? Okay, so they load everything up here. They swing for 7 into 6. Oh, because they only have one more attack. So they counter out. end up just passing the turn because now they can't swing in for 6 and 6. There was no way to get out of it. So really good stuff there. I wonder what happened there. How did we lose all of our Dawn? It was, we used it was the Hell's Judgment. That's right, it was the Hell's Judgment, which I think was the correct play. Really good stuff there. That was all 4 of our remaining Dawn. That was handled very nicely. So again, guys, watch the game-winning play right here. This was the game-winning play executed by the Red-Purple Luffy player. Awesome job. 10k attack, there's 4 Dawn active. We have a 2 Dawn event and another 2 Dawn event, and this is it right here, guys. Watch this. They attack in for 10, no problem. Nora Beam Sword, returning some rested Dawn, resting the Marshall D Teach, going plus 2,000, Hell's Judgment, minus 3,000 to that, and then minus 3,000 to the Laboon. And now, guess what? They have to load up as much Dawn as they possibly can because we're a 6,000 power leader. And now what do? The answer is we counter out, and then they just leave. They end up leaving the game after this. Really good stuff there, guys. Defensive events of that caliber, of like the Gum Giant, Hell's Judgment, and Nora Beam Sword, those can literally win you games, guys, even if it looks like, oh, how am I going to survive? Because if you look at this board state, it looks like we're about to lose the game. Like, let's go back to right here. We have 1 life. That's all we have is 1 life here. They have a 10k attack without a single Dawn invested. But because of Nora Beam Sword, we get to rest down their next biggest attacker. We still have 1 life, and we can get out of it with the Hell's Judgment and weaken another character. Awesome stuff here. Really well played. Let's move on to the next one. All right, guys, we have one more game. We got a game of Boa Hancock versus Red-Purple Luffy. A lot of Red-Purple Luffy in this one, right? Okay, let's get the volume off. Let's get the speed on 2x, and here we go. Okay. Boa Hancock, let's go. Now this is this one is on 1.29b on the sim, okay? This is version 1.29b on the sim. I think this is right around the time we lost Jozu or something like that. I can't remember exactly. Okay, so we hang on 1 second. So turn 1, Red-Purple Luffy goes first. Turn 1, they have nothing to play. And now turn 1 for Boa, play out Sengoku, fix our hand, play out Trafalgar Law, trying to lower our hand size so that way we can use our leader effect more effectively. Okay, more efficiently. Here we go. They swing for 6. We're going to take that. We didn't have any 2k counters. I do agree with taking that, but also dropping our hand size down is not that bad either. Okay, going to play out the 4-cost Trafalgar Law, returning the Sengoku, bouncing the card back to their hand, but now we don't get to attack because they're a 6,000 power leader. Okay, they're going to swing for 6. I think we should 2k counter out that. I think that is the exact right call. They play out a Zoro. Very nice. Now we have a very strong pudding turn here, guys. We don't have any other play, so hopefully that's what we end up doing here. I wouldn't attack first. I would pudding, and now swing 6, swing 6. Excellent. Okay, very, very excellent sequencing here. It looks like we might not play the Trafalgar Law, or not. I probably would have attacked with Trafalgar Law, to be honest, guys. That's what I would have done personally, but I don't think that's a misplay. That's just another play they could have done. Okay, swing for 6, 2k counter out, swing for 6. Looks like we might block. Yep, gonna block, stay at 4 life, stay healthy. Okay, they play out a Zoro. They're gonna try and fix their hand. They end up getting an Usohachi, 2k counter Usohachi. And they're back up to 7 cards in their hand now, guys. They're back up to 7 cards in hand. They're going to play out the Zoro. Now they're down to 6 cards. And what are we going to do in this situation? I love attacking into the Zoro here. I love attacking into the 3-cost Zoro, the 4-cost Zoro Zero. Yes, absolutely. Get all the cards from their hand. I'd swing 6 more into it. Get a Grab Blade. Oh, excuse me. Okay, or not Grab Blade. I was going to say 3,000 Worlds. Looks like we're going to play out the 3-cost Doflamingo. Interesting. Very interesting. Going to set our cards up the way that we want them because this 3,000 Worlds is going to let us draw the card we want. We're going to bottom deck that card. Okay, going to bottom deck one of the other 4 costs, which I think that's fine because they're already on 10 Dawn after their leader effect. So who cares about the Zoro Juro? It just doesn't do anything really. Okay, they're going to swing for 6. Looks like we're going to 2k counter out of that. I agree. 6k, probably take this. I'd probably take this one. Let's see. Looks like we are going to take it. Very nice. We got a red rock. Okay. Looks like we're not going to get the Zoro Juro out. We'll get rid of the 9 cost next turn. Seems good. Okay, here we go. Let's see what happens. Again, just keep poking 6 into that Zoro. I love that. Okay, first of all, red rock, getting rid of the 9 cost, and we know what we're going to draw, guys. We already know what we're going to draw. Okay, looks like we're going to 3,000 Worlds to get rid of this. I would much pause. So hear me out, guys. Let's talk about that play. This was not a it was not a blunder or anything like that, but I think we had a slightly more optimal play there. Watch this. So one thing we could have done. one thing we could have done was pay 4, which we did. We're going to pay 4 here and bottom deck the Zoro. What if instead we went swing 6 into Law, that's 1 Dawn, or not into Law, with Law, swing 6 into Zoro, that's 1 card from their hand. Then 1 Dawn on Boa, swing 6 more into Zoro, that's another card from their hand. Then attach their final 2 Dawn to the Pudding, swing 6 into Zoro. That would drop them down to 3 cards in hand. Okay, 3 cards in hand if they chose to counter out of all of that. I think that would have been fine. I think that would have been completely fine to get 3 cards out of their hand because we're not at jeopardy of losing the game. And the Red Rock play, I think, was perfect. That's what we needed to do, keep their board size low, but let's just keep beating their hand up here. Now, you don't have to do that. Getting rid of this Zoro, I completely understand that. That was a very good play as well, but I feel like going for their hand was something that might have allowed us to get a... We could have capitalized on the situation a little bit more in that situation. Okay, tell me what you guys would have done in the comment section below. I understand just removing the threat, but we're not really at jeopardy of losing this next turn, right? Because we do have, you know, I don't think we're at jeopardy of losing. I could be wrong. Okay, they play out Trafalgar Law. They find Nico Robin, the 3-cost blocker. They're going to play out the 6. Okay, well, so maybe we were at jeopardy of losing after all, guys. Maybe that was the right call there. Okay, they swing, if they could have protected the Zoro, of course. Okay, they're going to swing for 6. Looks like we're going to 1K to get out of that. They're going to swing in with the Luffy, and they're not going to take a life card. And that means they're probably going to set up for another one. Okay, that means they might be setting up for another one. Very nice. We have a blocker. That's going to make me feel very safe. This turn, pause. I don't know what they do here, guys. I'm going to tell you what I would do. I think we have a perfect 10 Dawn turn right here where we basically go swing 6 into their leader, swing 6 into their leader, 7 Dawn, bounce back the card to their hand, and play out the 1-cost blocker. So this, again, so guys, so let me explain a little bit better. Attach 1 Dawn to Trafalgar Law, swing 6 at leader. Attach another Dawn to Boa Hancock, swing 6 at leader. Now, with the remaining 8 Dawn, play out the Doflamingo, bouncing their Luffy back to their hand, and then with 1 Dawn, play out the Trafalgar Law. We're on 2 Dawn. We know what they're trying to do. We'll draw a card with that Doflamingo effect, and then we force them to do that whole entire play over again if they want to try to go for lethal while trying to deal with our Trafalgar Law. Understand that even if they have an Uso Hachi, it will be 6 Dawn to play out the Luffy, and then another 3 Dawn to play out the Uso Hachi. So at that point, they can't even use their double attack with the 6 cost. Okay. Now let's see what they choose to do here. I don't actually know what they're going to do. Uh-oh. This thing's locking up on me. There we go. All right. We got it going. Here we go. So let's see what they choose to do. Okay. So... okay, I love this. Like I said, guys, I don't pre-watch these games, so that was a very good thing to see. That's got to be the play, right? That's got to be the play. Swing 6, swing 6. There's the Russo Hachi. Bounce that card back to hand, drawing a card, playing out the blocker. Beautiful. Absolutely. I thought that was the most optimal play we could have done. Okay, swinging 6 into 5, that's a 2K counter every single time. Yep, excellent. And we have another Doflamingo, guys. What's he going to do now? Is he going to start sweating here? Oh, nice. We let that card go. So in this situation here, we caught a break. I would consider that catching a break. Okay, then they swing 6 and a 5. We got to start battling for their board next turn, but we have a 4K attack and a 4K that can really help us out. Okay, right here, guys, I'm going to go 4 into... hang on, pause. Before anything is done here, I would be very careful. Before anything is done from my hand, I don't want to give my opponent any zero information given. I want to go, okay, 4 into 4. What do you want to do? Tell me what you want to do. I'm going to swing 4 into 4. Do you want to save that card? If they save the card, we attack 6 into 4 with the Boa. We invest 1 Dawn, and then we can attack easier into the Monkey D. Luffy. But here's the thing. What I would do is 4 into 4. He's probably going to let it go. Okay? Then we go 7 into 7. He's probably going to counter to save it. And guess what? That's right. Probably play out the Sengoku to fix your hand real quick, and then play out the Doflamingo again to bounce the card back to their hand and draw another card, and then we swing for the rest with our leader into wherever we need to, whether it be into the Zoro or whatever. Okay, here we go. Let's see what they choose to do here. Yes. Yes, excellent. Let's go. I love this play. Love this. This is so good. You're forcing your opponent to do something. All right, now same thing. Same thing with Doffy here. Oh, okay. Very interesting. Guys, what would you grab here? We only have 2 options. Would you grab the 2K counter or would you grab the 3-cost blocker? What would you grab here? I think, honestly, I plan on playing out the 7-cost Doflamingo this turn. So I am grabbing the 2k counter. That's my play specifically, is the 2k counter. I would rather have the counter power in hand and go from there. But let's see what they choose to do. Because, guys, if they want to... Okay, it's freezing on me. Hang on one second. There we go. If they want to save that Monkey D. Luffy, they're probably going to drop a Gum Gum Giant to do so. Okay, I like the 2k counter. Look, they're like, all right, what do I do? What do I do? Which one do I pick? 2k counter is the right call, in my opinion. Very nice. And now we go 7. I would just go 7 into their Luffy. Okay. So I think we could have gone 7-7 into Luffy right here and then still played out the Doflamingo. And I'm talking 7 into that Luffy. So that was nice too. I like that better actually now. I like that better that they swung 6 and 7 into their life. And that was, that was really strong. Okay, they're going to swing for 6. We're obviously going to counter out of that. Now they're going to swing for 7. Are they going to stand it up? They're not. We have to take it. We actually didn't have to take it, but I do like taking it there. They play out Nico Robin. So let's keep attacking in, guys. Let's keep attacking in here. See, now that is one thing I have to mention, guys. That's why it's important to attack into your opponent's stuff first to see if you to see what you need to do. We'll talk about that more once we finish this game up, guys, because we had a choice there if we'd attacked into the board first. Okay, here we go. So it looks like, okay, it's doing that thing where whenever I pause it, it doesn't want to start playing again. There we go. So they finish out by playing out a Nico Robin. It's our turn now. It looks like we're going to... Yes, I love this play first. Force cards out of hand. Force cards off the board. They have to give us something. 2k counter? Sure. 7 more? Okay. Yep. Give us the blocker. Yep. Of course they're going to give us the blocker. And guys, we have the Jozu in our hand. We have the Jozu in our hand. Yeah, I would have actually replaced the Sengoku there and just bounced back the other Sengoku and kept the, the 4K, the putting on the board. Okay, playing out double blocker now. I really love this. Setting up our hand the way we want it into a Gravity Blade Raging Tiger. Yeah, we're going to be dealing with them next turn. We're going to be dealing with that. And now, all of a sudden, yep, 2k counter out of this for sure. I love that. Now, all of a sudden, there's like nothing they can do, right? Yeah, give them the 1-cost blocker here. Beautiful. So now, we're going to bottom deck both cards on their side. Oh, wow. We're going to be able to... I would still get rid of their entire board here. So hear me out, guys. I actually, right here, I would have attacked into that 7-cost first, so they would have blocked, or the 6-cost first, and they'd have blocked it. And then I would have bottom decked the 2 active cards just to be as safe as possible. Okay, smashing in for 7s across the board. Looks like we're going to have maybe a Sengoku follow-up. Yeah, swing 7, swing 7, swing 7. They have to be running low on cards, guys. They have to be running low on cards. Gum Gum Giant, trashing a Gum Gum Giant to get out of that one. 7 more in here, and they're going to just go ahead and give up. They didn't even want to see what their final card was. Good game. So real quick, I do just want to talk about, really well played by the Boa Hancock player here. Okay, now I just want to talk about one turn before. It was this one right here. So let's talk about this turn real quick. It is good to draw cards first, but hear me out. In this situation here, let's talk about something. So right here, I'm going to hit play. They're going to swing 4 into the Zorojiro. Love this play. Now, they let it go, obviously, and that was the right play to let it go. Now, watch this. Now we play out a Sengoku. Well, here's the thing. I don't think playing out the Sengoku is the best idea in this situation before swinging with Doflamingo. Because here's why I say that. We already have the Doflamingo in our hand to deal with that Luffy, no matter what. We already have that answer. But get this. If we swing for 7 first with the Doffy into the Luffy and they let it go for some reason, well, now that can change our entire play line, and then we can go for the Doflamingo instead of the 2k counter and set up our cards going forward, if that makes sense. Hopefully that makes sense. Now, it's not like this was a bad play or a misplay, but it really depends on what you're trying to do. In this case, it looks like we're trying to see, we're going to draw a card, we end up drawing the 2k counter, and we're going from there. But again, imagine if we swing for 7k into their Luffy, and they're like, okay, I don't want to give my whole entire hand away. Just to save this Luffy, when it might just get bounced back to my hand anyway. They might have let it go, or who knows what, right? It all depends. But whatever the case is, this was still a fine play, and it worked out nicely. And the other situation was this one right here. I think this was it. No, it was after this. Excuse me. It was on this turn right here. Okay. So they end up playing out. I'm going to fast forward. They play out the Luffy, swing for 7, play out the Nico Robin. We're going to draw into the Gravity Blade because we set it there, right? We knew the Gravity Blade was coming. Pause. Again, I'm going to let my opponent make the mistakes. I'm going to go 7 into Luffy. That's probably going to be a 2k counter from hand or the 1-cost 4k. Absolutely fine. 7 more into Luffy. Are they going to keep doing that? They can't eventually. They're going to block with Nico Robin. Then, Now that I have 2 targets, that's when I'm going to grab Blade. When they have 1 card left in hand and they have no card, and then I'm going to grab Blade when they only have 2 cards left on the board, and now they have 1 card left in hand and no cards on the board, and I have my blocker. I have my blocker, Doflamingo, and we can go from there with the 1 life. We have a little bit of counter power and all that good stuff. Either way, very well played. Good stuff from everybody. Well, guys, that's it for the games. Thank you to everybody who submitted those games. And again, if you're interested in doing that, hop on the, record some games. Most people use OBS is what it's called. OBS is the recording software most people use. That's what I use as well. And then you upload your game onto YouTube. And then you hop on the VV Theory Discord. Links in the channel description. And I have a channel called Review My Game for anyone who's interested. Now, here's the thing. Typically speaking, I only review 1 game per user. Some people have submitted multiple games for me to review. We'll see what happens in the future. I always try to get a new person in there before going backwards to the people who've submitted multiple games, if that makes sense. All right, but that's it, guys. Let's go ahead and get the, let me go ahead and get the outro on here. Get this sim overlay out of the way. There we go. All right, so big shout out to everybody who supports the channel, guys. For anyone who's liking, subscribing, sharing, commenting, viewing my stuff, if you're using my TCG Player affiliate link, if you're supporting me through donations on Patreon or PayPal, if you're a Playmat supporter, a YouTube member, or part of the Discord community, thank you guys so much. I really appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you guys so much. All right, well, I'm done. Hope y'all enjoyed. Till next time, guys, peace.